All right. Welcome to the Jake Blanchard podcast. We're dancing today. And by that, I mean, I have an absolutely fascinating guest who's built an extremely successful international fitness franchise, Shine Dance Fitness, and over the past decade or so, Kendall Neilson is here on the podcast. We're going to talk about the journey to create this business, entrepreneurship, life, and all those beautiful things. Kendall, welcome to the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Jake. This is exciting. I'm excited. I always like to talk about dance and shine, and so this is really fun.
Yeah, this is a new area for me. I'm not going to lie. I typically have a lot of martial artists on the podcast. I typically have, maybe some motivational speakers and authors and kind of different worlds. But this opportunity, as it kind of popped up, I'm like, oh my gosh, in my own backyard in Idaho, here's this such an interesting entrepreneur that's created an international movement of movement. And so, what a cool thing to have you on the show.
Yeah, I noticed like a lot of the people you've had on the show so far, not quite into the dance thing, but the entrepreneur thing, that thread is something that I'm really excited to share with. So anything you want to know, I'm an open book. I will not hold back. So
Love it.
Tell me what you want to know.
Well, let's talk about Shine first. So how do you describe Shine when you're talking about your business?
Well, there's the emotional side I could talk about, but basically Shine is a dance fitness format that is centered around traditional jazz, ballet, and hip hop. So those dance classes that maybe you took when you were younger or you wanted to take. So we take those traditional moves and we combine it with fitness, the calisthenics and all that. So we sneak in the squats and all that. You won't know that because you're having so much fun. We take those traditional dance moves and then combine it with choreography to current music. So the stuff that you're jamming out to in your car, everybody loves and connects to, we just bring it alive with choreography. And I don't know, think of like a backup dancer for Beyonce. Think about like those glory days for some of those girls that used to dance, or I think of it as a play date too, because we just have so much fun together. A big component of it is the community piece of it, but the workout itself is that traditional jazz, ballet, and hip hop to the current music.
All right. And then, so help me understand a little bit about the geographic reach or the size or locations or daily participants, whatever metric that you have that helps us kind of understand how big this thing has gotten.
Well, it started in Eagle, Idaho, which we were limited. We had a studio that could only fit 30 people in it. So, and that's as big as my dream really was. It's just to have an actual dance fitness class for my local community. But because, we have technology, YouTube is a huge contributor to the growth. And so one day we decided to get that courage up to put something out there on YouTube. And we got so much good, positive, like a huge positive response. People are like, how can I take this dance class? How can I teach this dance class? So, or these routines. And so by having that exposure, we are now worldwide. We have 250,000 followers on YouTube and about 41 million views or 45 million views. I can't remember, but a lot, because people not only just look at the videos, but they're actually using them to work out. And then, so there's that. And then we have instructors now that have kind of developed from that and that exposure as well. And we have about 400 instructors in probably 20 different countries just around the globe. So, and that's all because of online. There's so much we can do online. Like the trainings are online. We offer online classes now so that if you are doing the YouTube, the commercials can be kind of not so convenient when you're trying to work out. So the online classes are amazing. So yeah, does that kind of help?
Yeah, it certainly does. And, you said a little bit earlier when you were describing Shine that, there's a fitness component that's baked into it. Did you set out to do dance plus fitness, or did you set up to do dance and then decided that in a time restrictive model like that you had to add more? Like, help me understand that maturation process.
Yes. So it came about, well, dance I've always loved, I grew up, I wasn't amazing. Like there's the competitive dancer growing up and all that. I wasn't that. I did dance throughout junior high and high school and I loved it. And then going out with the girls, I love dance. So I don't have training in like real, like I'm not a trained dancer, if you will. Cause I mean, I did do the classes, but it wasn't above and beyond that. It wasn't much. So I struggled with getting to love fitness. I really struggled with making it a part of my life. I was never motivated. And that kind of crept in. Like I'd feel bad about that. Like, why is everybody else able to make, fitness workout? And I just never could. I could never stick with anything. And it started to kind of mess with my psyche. And I felt bad about it. And so um, my mom asked me to go to this wellness center, like for fun. And I'm like, and it was all about fitness. I'm like, ew, okay. Like I'd rather do like margaritas in Mexico.
Yeah,
But
same here.
okay. So I tried to just go, okay, and with an open mind. And so when I went down there, there was all these classes, all this fitness, but there was dance on the schedule. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like fun. Cause I mean, I did love going dancing. Like I would never sweat more than when I was dancing with my girls, having a blast. And so I was like, okay, I can do that. And something clicked. It was really like in that moment, I knew when I got back to Boise that I had to find like a place that I could do this. And so I then sought out, like when I came back, I really tried to find something that I was looking for, which was, Zumba was just getting started. So I'm going to just, to try and put a timeline on it. I went and did that like wellness retreat thing in 2008.
Okay.
And so it was 2008 that I kind of made that choice to look around, and I couldn't find anything because I wanted to feel like I was doing a routine. I wanted to feel like a backup dancer for J-Lo. I love J-Lo. I love Beyonce. I want to be up there. I wanted it to be more than just like a workout. I wanted it to be a creative outlet. And that's what I was getting from those classes that I was down there doing. It just felt like it was just me expressing myself. It was making me get out of my comfort zone. I just loved all the benefits that were happening. Plus I was so sweaty and I was so happy. So coming back here, I didn't really find something that fit that mold. There were different things. Like I said, Zumba was just starting out and I love Zumba. I mean, I actually hadn't really tried it other than I knew it was in that Latin base. And I think that's amazing. I just wanted more of that traditional jazz, ballet, and hip hop, those little dance.
Sure.
So yeah, that's where I'm like, I couldn't find it. So I just decided that I needed it and I'd create it. So
that's a beautiful thing. And then, it's funny because I've got some experience with a little shine. I got some shine in my life. And I told you this while we were, emailing back and forth, but my wife comes home one day, it's 3 or 4 years ago. And she's like, hey, I'm going to a fitness class tonight. And I'm like, a fitness class? Like, which one? Like, it's a new thing. Tell me about it. She's like, well, it's dance. I'm like, you're not a dancer. Like, what do you do? Like, I had a lot of questions. I was like guarded. I was caught off guard. I'm like, you dance now? Like, who's going to be there? Like, and it's kind of wild where she's like, listen, like my friends, her best friend, Nikki, it was doing Shine. And I think Nikki's now an instructor and she teaches classes out here in Middleton, which is fantastic. But she goes, yeah, it's a thing that Nikki's doing. And then all of a sudden, like I get to watch over time, there's like a real sense of community as a safe space. It's kind of like a container for people to have fun and build connections together. So like, when did that start happening? Like, when did it start to become a thing outside of a fitness class?
That was something on my heart from day one, because so when I started, I didn't have any big aspirations at all, other than just like, let's have this community come together. I wanted it to be a place where women would come together, express themselves. From day one, always wanted to try to get us to do other stuff, other things outside of the dance floor, like go get coffee and support one another. And I knew that that's why I didn't end up going and teaching in a gym or finding, somewhere for me to go in a gym. I had to create my own space so that I would have that flexibility, because in a gym, it's not traditional to like build community and have all the connection
Yeah.
outside the dance floor. You kind of go to a gym, you work out, you leave, people are busy. But I do believe it is a possibility. In our training, we talk a lot about connection. It's one of our main promises that we, as a company, we promise connection. And I think that we're finding that even in the gyms, that it is possible to have that and create that. There's stuff that we can do, connect with our students before they even start class. There's things we teach our instructors to do during class, and then there's after class. It is so important because I know for me, so finally I got the fitness piece that I was enjoying, but we're so busy. And wow, if I can actually meet up with friends, it makes it so much more fun. And it just gives you more of that girls' night out. And I say girls' night out, but guys, we have guys too. And the more we're growing, we're seeing more guys.
I'm gonna come try it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna find some time. I'm gonna bring a couple friends. And we're gonna come out and we're gonna try it.
Okay, you guys heard him. So now we want the follow-up. Okay.
100%.
Okay, it's happening. So this is exciting. Yes, and we might even put you on video.
Let's do it. Yeah,
Let's do it because
I'd love it.
Okay, to date. So yeah, that makes me so happy that your wife did it, and that Nikki is there, and that she supports Nikki as Nikki's just getting going. I think she's going to do phenomenal. Yeah. Because I don't think we really have anybody right now teaching in Middleton. The gal that kind of mentored her name's Holly. She's not doing it right now. And I think that all of our communities, my goal is not my goal, my heart's desire is to have every community have a shine. Just know that there's a place you can go where there's good people with big hearts. I always say the biggest muscle on a shine instructor is the heart. And it's just a safe place to go to express yourself. And I want it, kind of like AA, how you can go to if you're traveling or you're moving to a new location, you can go to AA and know, okay, there's my people. They know it. I don't want this to be AA, but I do want people to feel like I can find a shine class and feel I'm at home. These people get me.
That's beautiful. And so the next question I have, I was watching some of these shine videos, and the dance moves are really foreign to me because I'm not in the dance world. Like, how do you choreograph these things? Do you have like a bucket of like moves that you like reach into and you like kind of overlay it, or is there, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of thought and a lot of things there, but I have no idea how one choreographs in that way. And then the quality of your product is based on your ability to disseminate information through the various instructors. And as things change, how is that proprietary? Take me through that creation process, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So we listen to our community, and we they will suggest songs to us. And so we like to always take what they want. And we like to make those routines, but we like to, one of our other promises is making sure that we use current music. And so a lot of times it's what is hot on the radio? What are people loving right now? And then you take that and literally I will listen to it. I will get familiar with the song, and we have some criteria. We don't want the song to be typically more than 4 minutes long. 3 minutes is more of the sweet spot. So then there's a structure, every song has structure. And so some songs, especially these days, are so crazy and all over the place, it makes it hard to choreograph. So ideally you'd have a song that is structured really evenly so that we can do the combos and they repeat. And so what I will do is I will start just moving my body, seeing where it's the vibe of the song, where it's taking me. And I just start kind of dancing, moving around. And I also get inspiration from watching actual dancers on YouTube, or TikTok is really fun. You can get great inspiration from TikTok. We just did a move recently that incorporates some TikTok. So yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of everything. And then of course I have an amazing team that we come together, and then we we'll go over it, analyze it. tweak it and then tweak it again. We really take this, like the choreography is really important to us. And so we do kind of, we like over probably think it sometimes, but I think it's important. Because you're right, like then whatever we create, we need to then share it with our instructors and hope that it kind of gets done the same way that we intended it, as we created it to be. And so we have tutorials that we do, that we break down the moves. And no matter what, there's always going to be that little bit of disconnect, because anytime, you're watching it and then rewatching it, I will even watch my own choreography. Like after I need to refresh it, like, okay, I can't remember these moves. I'll go back to my own tutorial and go, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong. It's just natural. So, but I love that we have those tutorials in place. We use them as a tool, because another promise is consistency. So we don't have instructors just doing their own choreography, because we really, like I said, if we want people to feel like they feel home when they attend a Shine class, that means it has to be familiar. And so if every single Shine class you go to is unique and different, it's going to lose that authenticity and that special like connection, that whole sense of home.
Yeah, a great quote that I reference all the time: variation is the enemy of quality. Right. And in this standpoint, it's like, hey, we're creating a standard set of movement for this particular song that achieves this particular fitness goal. Totally makes sense. Follow-up question though, is there room for personal interpretation? So like, if sometimes I just feel I got to dance, is there room for me to do that?
Well, as instructors, we highly encourage that. We always say you do you, and we all have our own interpretation. And so the way I do a move is going to look different from one instructor to the next. And I love that wholeheartedly. So yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say something else on that. I can't remember. I'll come back to it if I think about it, but yeah.
Well, shifting out of dance moves, I'm fascinated with the story of the accidental entrepreneur, right? And from the standpoint of your goal was served when you had 30 people maxed out in a class, and that you were creating a cool community. And then, social media, the reach from YouTube, those types of things. Take me through the business. Like how did that evolve over time?
Oh my goodness. It was, like I said, I got that spark and I was so happy, because I think sometimes, I kind of feel like I was a natural born entrepreneur. I always was seeking for that thing I could invent and be, independently like rich. I just always had this desire to find and invent something.
Yeah.
I would never in a million years think that what I can develop or create just with myself would be something like of a business. I can't even wrap my head around that, especially knowing like, don't like fitness, wasn't a great, amazing dancer. So the whole concept of what I do is crazy. So I guess, I am your very accidental entrepreneur is perfect. Although I felt like that was in me.
Yeah.
So when
maybe in the space, accidental entrepreneur in the dance fitness genre,
100%,
wasn't seeking it out, but found passion, and it became something organically that you had to respond to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes those things that we hate or is a problem or like pain point is the thing that is that entrepreneurial opportunity. So for me, it was working out. I found something I love. So then to put it into action, instead of me just starting a class, I knew, because of the way I kind of roll, entrepreneurially speaking, I knew I wanted to create a brand. I had to kind of come up with a name. I needed to come up with a formula of, okay, well, what does that look like from beginning to end? I started out small, like 45 minutes and once a week. I had come from I had come from a space, like I came from, I can't get this out because I'm so fired up about it, but I was very fried from the job that I had prior. So when I started this, I promised myself, Kendall, don't let it like suck the life out of you. And so making sure I stayed balanced. So when I started, I just said, I wanted this to be organic. I didn't have that like high expectation that I'm going to reach this many students in this amount of time. And I didn't put that pressure on myself. I just said, I'm going to let this happen organically. So that kind of took the pressure off. And for those first years, I only thought of it as just like a hobby and an outlet that I knew I needed, and it made me accountable. That's the beauty of being an instructor, is that you are accountable. You have to show up for your people. And it just filled my soul to connect with these people, like not just on the dance floor, not just move for physical reasons, but we actually had doing life together and doing some hard life together. And I'm still so amazed how people are going through such hard stuff and they're still able to show up and dance. We had a girl lose her son, and she, 4 days later, or that week later, she was at the Shine Studio dancing. And I couldn't understand that, because I just was like overwhelmed. Like, how can she do that? And a girl battling cancer, she would show up to class. And I never understood like how these women going through like horrible things, divorce and stuff like that. And sometimes they don't always let me know what they're going through until after. They're like, oh my gosh, Kendall, I got through so much crap and so much hard stuff because of this class. Like, my son's in a mental institute, but this is the thing that I can put everything on pause. And I'm experiencing that for the first time because of my Melanie, I don't know if you guys know, but she's like so much of what Shine is. She's like my buddy, like my rock. She's like really why Shine has evolved to where it is today. I feel like the butt kicking routines, she really helped develop more. Anyway, so I can't take all the credit for this journey myself, but because I've leaned on her a ton. But she's battling cancer right now, and
oh my gosh,
it's for the third time. It's really hardcore, and I'm seeing the beauty for the very first time, like how you can use the Shine class to detach for 80 hours. And it is such a relief because you carry all this throughout the day. And I finally get it, like why these women are telling me these stories. So anyway, it's very powerful mentally, not just physically. And then the community support that rallies around is incredible. So it's just,
I want to go back to a point that you just made. And I heard a turn of phrase that I grapple with all the time, which is giving others what you need, right? From the standpoint of like showing up in a way of just being able to just be there and go through it. And like, you need the community, but you have to go to the community to receive the community. You know what I mean? Like what a powerful thing, what a powerful forum. And so touched to hear that. And I imagine I imagine as a group, you're all rallying around, her current events as well.
It is the craziest thing to see. And it's in these dark, hard moments in our, that you get to see how bright we shine. Like, I mean, I don't mean that that's
beautiful,
but it's true. Like, this community is incredible. I can't remember the last time I looked at GoFundMe this week. I think they've raised $13,000 just in a week,
well, send me that link.
Not just that, but the moral support and the love and everything. It's just incredible.
We'll add the link to the notes on the podcast as well for anybody who's listening, and make sure it goes out with it. And then certainly we'll make sure it's posted on social when this goes out.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, so I guess I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole, but it is on my heart. It's on my but I do feel like I need to be strong for the community, and and it helps me. And anyway, it is a beautiful thing. But as far as like you were asking me, I think about
the journey of entrepreneurship. And this is part of it.
So yeah, that first year, it was just kind of figuring out how to be an instructor. What is that formula? And it was I took about 6 years, 5 to 6 years of figuring it out and not having any pressure. But I think that it was at a point where I'm like, okay, I need to get back into contributing to my family. I need to make some money, and college is coming. And while this has been fun and a hobby, I do see that I need to make a pivot, and I need to make this thing that I'm doing, which was called Diva, I need to make it a business. And so that's kind of that moment. And that was in 2015 that we became Shine. And I really did become a little bit more focused on what the mission is and all of that. And so that's when we started doing instructor trainings, and that's when we did like the online classes. So we were really in place for all of this before COVID hit. So we've been doing it for a while, but it's all, I always kind of keep myself in check, that whenever it's getting to be too overwhelming, I need to like stop and just look around, see what, you know what I mean? I don't ever
Appreciate,
want it
have
to
some
get,
fun. Yeah.
yeah, have some fun, right? Can't let it get overwhelmed. Feels like a little bit of a runaway train sometimes, because it's growing and it's exciting. And I'm only one person. I mean, I get like getting people, to help out, but it's the growing pains is there for sure.
So you get a time machine, Kendall. You get to go back to 2015 and give yourself some advice here on what this is going to become and what you need to do. What would you tell yourself when you get an opportunity to kind of sit beside yourself, coach yourself up a little bit for what's coming?
Well, I would say stay like in the present and stay humble and stay content. I think that we can get really like, why aren't I growing more? Why aren't I, looking to the future or getting anxious about the future, all that we have coming at us, and it can kind of throw us off. Or I can look back at what I was supposed to do or what I should have, would have, could have. But if I stay, like I always kind of come back to this saying to myself, is just staying in that moment, focus on what's at hand. That, I guess that's the biggest advice, because it can be overwhelming, it can be stressful, but I know that's my thing, coming back to like the present.
And what's surprised you the most so far as this thing has scaled and gotten huge and international, and you got people flying in from all over the country to do these? I saw you were at the jump building not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Bunches of instructors. Like, how many people were there?
Yeah, we had 75 instructors, which was pretty dang awesome. Out of like, we have almost 400. And so for that many during COVID, that was incredible. So yeah, it is amazing. I think I feel like I have my head in the sand. I don't realize the growth sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes when I come out and I look around, and it's those moments when I see all of those instructors come together, and then for them to tell their stories about how they're reaching people, that really opens my eyes to see just how big this is. It's one person, one instructor, let's say in Tulsa, or one that's in Australia, or one instructor. It's like to see their ripple effect has been so incredible.
So what are you doing outside of Shine? Like, what do you do for fun?
Oh my gosh, that's a thing. Jake, you like, that's something I have to work on. I feel like right now I need balance, because like when you love what you do, it is hard to like, have those boundaries. And so I feel like there is more that I should be doing that would keep me in balance. And so that is my goal for 2022. I'm going to come up with 22 things that I'm going to do that I get to, for me to stay balanced. And so I have all sorts of ideas, but for right now, I mean, I always try to make time for my family, my kids. My husband works and he's very involved in this business, so we're kind of in it together. But we try to carve out time together, and my kids, that's pathetic, right? You just caught me at a time where I am not in balance. That's the honest to truth. It's entrepreneurship.
100%. And I've had to change my perspective about this over the years as well. And most specifically, I had a guest on early in the podcast. His name's Andy Foe. He's a tattoo artist, phenomenal black and white tattoo artist. And he said it's not work-life balance, it's work-life flow. Like it's the flow of how they come together. And I picked up later on, and I can't remember which podcast this was on or what conversation I had. I don't know where I get all these like little one-liners anymore. I can't keep track, but um, fascinated with the concept of upfront energy taxes when you take on new things in life or in business or whatever. And what you don't realize is when you add that energy tax, that 10% that it takes extra work to get something off the ground or going, what you end up sacrificing in other areas of your life. And maybe that's where that balance comes in. So when you have a lot of things going on, a lot and a handful of new things going on, a lot of the stuff that's already been kind of operationalized in your life, it suffers. And a lot of times that could be, for some people, that for me, diet, that usually gets me first. I just go to like the quick, convenient, like I don't have time to do X, Y, and Z. And so it's just being aware of the flow and aspiring to get there. But as an entrepreneur, I don't blame you at all, especially on what you've built. Like, of course, you're going to give so much of yourself to the process. And of course, it's going to be even more difficult for you as it goes along to redefine what that balance or that flow looks like.
Yeah, I do know it's important. I know friends are important. I have a mom who's lives here, and I just want to be there for her. I don't want to have any regrets that I didn't spend time on those important things. So I think that's the biggest challenge as like an entrepreneur, just building a business that, to not have those regrets, find the time for those people that mean the most to you.
Yeah,
So I'm on a mission. Let's just put it that way.
that's beautiful. And then, is Shine the sole focus, or are you playing around with any other entrepreneurial ideas? As an entrepreneur, I know there's always hands out there, ideas flow and things going on. I'm interested if you'd be willing to share anything that you've got in the hopper or anything you're excited about.
I mean, within Shine, I could see us developing arms and things like that. That would
Yeah.
be different revenue streams. But I don't have anything outside of Shine. It's all consuming and I love it so much. The people, the community. Um, I just, I'm in it 100%. So I would see us like nutrition, is of interest to me. I think that's important that we like to talk about like the whole person and retreats. We're doing a Shinecation in June, and I feel like that's a huge. I think it's important. Like I'm kind of a hypocrite now because I'm telling you how important it is to carve out time for stuff, not work and all of that. Like, but a Shinecation is gonna be taking place, and I can see us doing some more of those. That we have speakers that are inspiring and time to get together and play and do all the things that we talk about on the dance floor, but just do it in like a vacation kind of setting. So that's going to be our first one this June. And I feel like, yeah, nutrition is another area that I'm kind of playing around with.
Yeah. And as far as like Shinecations and things like that go, like, I think that's a beautiful thing when you can, when you truly love what you're doing, when you like truly wake up and you're inspired by it and you enjoy it, your balance is going to look different than other people's balance. It's just inherent. Like you found it, you found the thing.
Right.
So many of us walk around in this life wondering what our impact's going to be. We wonder, how we're going to leave a legacy, or, what experiences are going to kind of forge us and define us in the future. And when people find those things and they're excited about it and they immerse themselves in it, what an incredible, what an incredible thing to be able to do and to share. So I say Shine Vacation as much as you possibly can.
Yes, I know. I think there is a lot of pressure for people to go, oh, do what you love what you do. I just posted something today on Instagram, but I think that it's like, well, I love lots of things, or like finding that passion. There's pressure on us. And I remember watching Oprah all those years, like, okay, find your passion, you'll be successful. And I'm like, I never got it. I don't like, again, the accidental, here I am. And I am so grateful because I do truly love what I do. But I don't take it for granted for sure. So, but I do encourage everybody to keep searching for that thing, and not to put the pressure on you, but just kind of always be putting those feelers out there, because you should never just hate what you do. Like,
Yeah.
I've been there, and and it was not fun, and it doesn't need to be that way. Even if you just dabble into something, just to get that little creative or that thing that you love out there. And I think it's so important. So don't ever stop looking for it. It's kind of fun. It's like a journey to
Yeah.
find that thing.
And, as we're starting to come up on time here, I'm so interested in how entrepreneurs or people in kind of high stress, or, they have the pressure of creating businesses, find inspiration in reading or books, or, where do you go? Like, where do you recharge your battery of like ideas, or the way that you come to the table in your business?
I do a lot of audible. Like I don't read. I'm on the go,
Yeah.
multitasking. So I love podcasts. I'm always listening to podcasts, and audiobooks. So that's my favorite thing
What's your
to do.
go-to podcast? I want to know.
Um, well, like it depends on like whatever the topic is. I'm kind of all over the place, but I do love Chalene Johnson. I also love the NPR, How I Built This. Like that's just
Mm,
inspiring to hear those people's stories. So I'm
it is.
kind of like you, Jake. I love to hear about other people's journey and why they do what they do and how they built what they did. So that one's really inspiring. So those are just to name a few.
That's so cool. And then anything that we should be aware of coming up that you've got going, maybe? And then also Shine Dance Fitness is the website, but where else do people find you, find your organization, go ask questions?
If you are kind of curious or want to learn more about it, you can check us out on YouTube just to see us in action. That's Shine Dance Fitness. We are on Instagram, Shine Dance Fitness. So either way, but yeah, we are planning in 2022 to get out there and get more instructors, because there's a need out there. There's need for that connection, need for that outlet, that place that you can be safe, put everything on pause. And we have lots of territory to still cover. So that is our goal, to find different locations around, starting nationwide here, just locally, but there's opportunities. Of course, you can always do the online classes too.
Okay,
So,
Kendall, I'm excited. I'm definitely going to follow up here. I'm going to come. I'm going to come to a class. I'm going to at least drag one or two other people, hopefully willing participants to come out there with me to explore this, because I think that it's important. And then two, you never know. Maybe I've got a couple ideas on how we can get Chuck off the couch, after his 9 to 5, to go in there and dance the top 40, or
yes.
yeah, it's there's probably some untapped potential. And I've gone to the bars downtown. I know there's a lot of men who cannot dance, so maybe there's some opportunities to make it fun for them as well, or at least make it freeing, so that there's some confidence there.
I know. The guys that come love it. They love it. And so I know that, if you can just get outside of your head and not care what others think, that's the hardest part. Then it's all downhill from there. You'll have a complete blast. So I will, I'll let you know when I'm teaching, because I got to witness this. We got to.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll come down to headquarters for sure. It'll be fun.
Okay.
And then, a little commentary here at the end from personal experience. And I mentioned this at the beginning, as a husband, my partner, my wife, the person that I care about so much in this world, the fact that she has something, she has other communities and subcultures she's a part of, but the fact that she also has this, where she has her friends and it's fun, and she gets to share energy and experience and laugh and build relationships, and do something that I would have never expected her to dedicate time to at this point in our life, almost 20 years together, being surprised that she was exploring this in the first place. In a way, you've certainly impacted my life as well. So thank you for that. Thank you for your positivity around that. Honored to have you on the podcast, and truly appreciate you wiggling me into your very, very busy schedule, Kendall.
I appreciate it. This was fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. And we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good.